It's a new year and a new PGC, and we are back once again with Will Meltzer from Moloco. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Good to see you again.
Likewise, we caught up in Helsinki a couple of years ago, I think.
Post-lockdown.
Yeah, and now we're actually back.
We had to practice talking to each other again a bit.
No, we were learning. We were relearning how to do it. But we're here now, and it's busy as ever, and we're back. But I won't make you repeat the whole, big Moloco paragraph. But just the one-line teaser. What's Moloco? What are you all about?
We're a performance marketing business, and we help clients with their user acquisition and retention.
Beautiful. That'll do us nicely. So, if anyone wants to hear the long version, go to the Helsinki interview. Now, as we're in the new year, we're going to start on the slightly downside and go positive as we go, but we can't ignore the negatives of what's happened. So a lot of layoffs last year. The market feels like it's sort of contracting a little bit. And this year, VC marketing, or VC spend rather, is going to be down. We're going to see fewer games being made, and people are a little bit cautious and a little bit worried as well, like generally speaking. With fewer games means fewer games potentially to market. If that's the case, how is it going to affect Moloco and the way you guys move forward in 2024?
I don't think hugely. We work with probably about 100 odd developers in EMEA, and then more than that globally, and we're moving down. And I think the beauty of having a DSP is that we have strength and breadth, our ability to deliver value to game developers of all sizes and all genres. So really, we're working to expand where and how we can deliver value. And our biggest, I'd say, upside we saw last year was IAA monetized with long lifetimes and hybrid casual titles. So we really saw huge growth coming out of those areas, and we're looking to see that continue in 2024.
Well, we spoke to one of your colleagues over on PG Biz. We talked to them, and they talked about the importance for you folks of holistic marketing. The idea that it's not just about engaging new users and doing UA through the roof, but re-engaging older users. Do you feel that's an important thing? Is that something you folks have always been doing, or
not something we've always been doing? Ikjin, our CEO, worked hard to develop a DSP that would solve the sort of problem, or crack the problem of delivering user acquisition to developers in the open web using machine learning. I'd say we're valued at 2.5 billion, and we're valued at that through doing user acquisition in the open web using machine learning. And we continue to scale. So we sort of crack that tougher problem, right? Because you've got to find the users in the first instance and predict the value for any given title that you're working with. Whereas when it comes to re-engagement, the value's already been sort of generated, and the user's almost being provided to us in the first instance. So the trick really is identifying an existing audience and the price at which we want to bid and bring them back into the title, which is a slightly simpler problem. It's not as huge a market available to it, but it's certainly something that's important to us and is adding value now to a range of our larger clients, and we're looking to bring that to our broader portfolio.
Well, we spent a lot of last year talking about AI, and it was the generative side of it was kind of new back then.
Yeah.
And I think the public opinion has, I think, soured a little on the whole thing. There's a lot of suspicion around it, and I think the layoffs and then people introducing AI replacement type things has fulfilled a lot of people's worst nightmares in some regard. A company like yourselves has been using AI or ML for quite some time, and have you felt anyone like suddenly realizing when they say use machine learning, they go, hang on a minute, that's AI. You're one of the bad people. Or do you have to explain to them that it's used in a different way and has been for a number of years prior to this?
So we normally get called bad for serving ads, not for being machine learning. And I have to indicate that that's how your game gets paid for in the first instance, right? I used the term AI to describe what we are as a business when I joined Moloco in 2019. It was firmly sold, it's actually machine learning. So there's a big differentiation. And I'd say the machine learning piece, we're a deep neural network. And what it does incredibly well is identify patterns and take inputs to generate specific outputs. And they could be many and varied. And it's that piece that we're very effective on, and it's why we continue to deliver incremental value across the open web, where clients are already running campaigns on that same inventory directly with the networks and other partners. I think with the AI piece, you've got generative AI, you've got a lot of that, and I think what it is clearly disruptive. It is going to continue to be disruptive. I don't think there's much we can say about that. And I think there'll be positive and negative effects. I think what I'm interested in seeing is the connection of machine learning to AI and how you can use the patterns that machine learning can sort of identify with the generative examples of AI to then build a positive sort of flywheel of performance. That would be exciting to me. It's a new interface, AI, right?
Well, I feel people are less hostile to it when it's doing a billion calculations that would take an army of people a year to do. And that's kind of a positive, good use, do the busy work, inverted commas. And then when it comes to the creative side of things, I think people are more comfortable if there's a person doing it and a job going with that person, ideally. From your folks, what do you guys deliver? Once you've got all the ML, you've got all the data, the human aspect is how do you use that data in a meaningful and helpful way? How do you go about doing that?
So for us, it's more a case of managing the models. So no human really analyzes the data, but what we do is we try and work with our existing models to improve the outputs that they generate for our clients. And we do that with some serious brains, some of the smartest people I'd say in the world actually who work with Moloco. And then from a day-to-day basis, it's our growth teams, it's our sales teams who work with people who've developed great apps, great games, who want to bring them out to market and promote them and increase their audience and increase their users in a way that's profitable for them. And then in that instance, it's like helping our clients understand what to expect from working with us and from working with the tech that we're offering to them. What they should expect over time, what they could do to maybe improve performance, to find performance, to smooth out turbulence, whatever it may be. And from my perspective, from a growth and a relationship perspective, it's about translating what we see happening at the bidding end and the performance end into real actions that should or should not be taken at any given moment in our partnership with our clients.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I'm interested in, especially with the ML and the reaction, how reactive and agile is the system? For example, China has recently changed the way that it works. It's decided, right, we're no longer allowing login rewards for daily users. We're basically locking down a lot of the free-to-play model. 10 cents value, got 2 billion wiped off it overnight or whatever. And that kind of seismic shift that suddenly happens can disrupt, I imagine, a lot of the models that have been built up over time. Not that one particularly affects you, but in general, these big shifts like Apple changing, the way data's used, how long does it take to the models to catch up with the new system? Because learning means learning over time.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we require inputs to generate outputs. And I think the philosophy of Moloco has been that at all times, machine learning will perform a better job at generating the outputs required by our clients than human learning. And as inputs change, we would expect there to be turbulence, but then over time, the adaptation would happen. And obviously, you've raised the privacy piece. We don't know what that's finally going to look like, and we have a range of contingencies in play, and we're sort of continuing to develop those contingencies based on various predicted potential futures. And when the dust settles, we'll see how it lands. But we do think whatever the market looks like, there's a very, very strong place for machine learning in that market. And that's the faith we hold with our business and our ultimately our tech at the core of the business.
What about the fun and positive stuff? So we're coming into the new year.
Yeah.
Are there things on the horizon that you folks are looking forward to? Any changes you're making with the way that you do business, or things you're going to be revealing in the next few months?
Yeah, so I talked about our experiments last year with hybrid casual and IAA monetized games.
Yeah.
Apps. That's growing rapidly. So if there are developers out there who haven't previously been able to utilize machine learning in the open web, beyond the walled gardens, let's say, it's probably worth having a conversation with us now, because things have been looking really, really good and growing in 2023, and we're really looking to double down on that from a client acquisition strategy. I think from the perspective of most people in the industry, the SDK piece with Moloco is really interesting. And we would be the first 100% demand advertiser-led platform with an SDK. So what does that actually look like for advertisers? And we're the only independent player left in the space. We would be, and we are, our model is basically looking to pass all of the savings and the efficiencies that come with an SDK onto the advertiser space. And no one's actually doing that. There's margin being driven at the SDK end. And the idea ultimately is to increase scale overall for all of our advertisers, and in so doing, that should benefit the publishers as well. And we're beginning to see that, and that is growing rapidly. So it's like we're a DSP with an SDK. We're absolutely and utterly not a network. That's not our model. We remain 100% advertiser focused, and that's very, very exciting to begin to see those performance improvements take shape.
And how about the show today? I imagine you're booking meetings and that sort of thing. Do you get a chance to wander around and have a look, or is it strictly business?
Have a look, right? Absolutely, I love being back here. So you meet up with your competitors, your clients, your partners, obviously the MMPs, the data guys. It's a really good moment just to get back into the industry. You've had Christmas, you got a bit fatter. It's time to get the brain back into gear again. It's, as you said, new year, new PGC.
Sounds exhausting, but good. I like it. Fantastic. William, thank you for talking to us as always.
Thanks, James.